Okay, we're here at the final section in chapter 2, and this one is, sorry. Okay, sorry about that. Section 2.6, special angles on parallel lines. All right, so these two lines are parallel, and I know they are because of this symbol, these little arrows. And conjecture number 3, this is kind of a long one. We're going to dissect it into 3 different parts. If two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, so two parallel lines, the line that cuts across it, that's called a transversal. Then corresponding angles are congruent, alternate interior angles are congruent, and alternate exterior angles are congruent. Well, that's kind of a mouthful. Let's start with this very first one, corresponding angles. So corresponding angles, let's look at this one right here. I'm going to have that be an open circle. Yeah, let's close it so we don't think it's a 0. Okay, so notice where this closed circle sits. It's on top of one of the parallel lines to the right of the transversal. So the one that corresponds to that is this one, because it sits on top of the parallel line to the right of the transversal. They correspond. They're in the same position. I want to preface what I'm going to say next with this. If you have two parallel lines cut by a transversal, all the angles that look like they're the same are the same. And I also think I have this chart up in the classroom, so we will be talking about these relationships a lot. So this also corresponds, let's make this one look different, to this one right here. This one corresponds to this position right here, and this one corresponds to this one. Those are all corresponding angles. Alright, the next thing is alternate interior angles. We'll do this one with a 10. Hopefully you can see a different color. Okay, alternate interior angles. We shorten this a lot. We use this alternate interior angles a lot. We're going to call it alternate interior angles, AYA. Alright, so let's look at their interior angles, meaning they're on the inside of the parallel lines. So if I have, I don't know if you can even tell that that's blue, but it's blue. We'll put a star in a circle. If I have an angle right here, alternate means they're on alternating sides of the transversal. So this one would be an alternate interior angle to this one right here. And these are congruent. So then, if I have this angle, I'll just do a squiggly line. It's kind of messy after a while. Then the alternate interior to that one would be right here. And those two angles are congruent. And then the last pair that we're going to talk about are alternate exterior angles. So this time, the angles that we're talking about are going to be on the outside of the parallel lines, on alternate sides of the transversal. So if I have one up here, it's going to be on the other side, down here. Those are alternate exterior angles. And then if I have one here, on the other side of the transversal, on the exterior, this one would be right there. So a lot of stuff going on with parallel lines. The other thing I want you to notice, we also have vertical angles. These are the same. These are the same. These are the same. These are the same. We also have a bunch of linear pairs, don't we? These two are a linear pair. When you add them together, they equal 180. This is also a linear pair. So is this one. So is these two. And these two. And these two. So there's all kinds of relationships going on with these parallel lines. It's going to be super helpful when we do some of our problems, like this one. And this is exercise number 2 on 2.6 worksheet. All right, so I know that these two lines are parallel because they both have arrows. These two lines are parallel because they both have 2 arrows, okay? All right, so remember what I told you. If you have parallel lines cut by transversals, all the angles that look like they're the same are the same. So if I look at A and B, notice their position. A is underneath this parallel line to the right of the transversal. B is underneath this parallel line to the right of that transversal. A and B are corresponding angles. And I know that corresponding angles are the same. So if I can find A or B, I know what the other one is. I know B and C are also corresponding because they're in the same position. Also corresponding. B and C, this should be a C, sorry. And I also know if this is 65 degrees, then this angle right here is also 65 degrees because those are alternate interior angles. You're on the inside of these two parallel lines on alternate sides of that transversal. So if this is 65, this is 65, you can't really see that number, I'm sorry. And if this is 65, isn't D also 65? Those are vertical angles. So D is 65. And D are a linear pair, right? So if this is 65, C is 180 minus 65. So C is 115. And I know that B and C are corresponding angles, meaning that they're the same. So B is 115. Oh look, and A and B are corresponding, so that means that A is also 115. Pretty easy, huh? Alright, that's it for Geometry Chapter 2.